Hello, everyone. My name is Sydney Brandeis, and today we're here with Valerie Hope, CEO and leadership coach. And today she's going to be telling us about how to OMG your talents, how to own, master, and give away your talent. So welcome.
Thank you so much, Sydney. I'm excited about this topic.
Yeah, OMG, it's a great acronym. So let's jump right into it. So first, own. How do you know what your talent is and how do you own it?
That's generally the trickiest part. Most of us, at least in my experience in coaching and in facilitating workshops, we are somehow driven by what we see other people do, right? We get distracted by other people's talents. We admire them, we emulate. And that sometimes comes at a cost. And the cost is we don't always understand our own. My recommendation is to have people really look at when you're doing a particular activity, how do you feel about doing the activity, not the outcome, not the result. But notice, do you feel like you lose track of time? Are you noticing that you feel really inspired and all of a sudden creative and you have all sorts of ideas? Are you noticing that you work really hard at getting better at something or continuing to improve without being told, not because you got criticized or because you felt that you needed to be perfect, but because you have this drive? So these are all telltale signs that you might be working within your talent because there's something that's coming from within. There's an intrinsic expression of yourself.
So say maybe you can't recognize what your talent is. Is there a way that you can ask for help or, try to get others to help you recognize your talent?
Yes, absolutely. You could always ask people, again, being mindful of who you ask, right? People that you trust, someone that has seen you in action, they might be able to offer an idea of where to look, right? Especially when people ask, someone for advice or they'd ask them for their expertise on a regular basis. I know I have my poor brothers. I reach out to them all the time for help, but I know which one I need to ask for what type of help. So ask your friends and family, what do you count on me for? When you need something from me, what would you receive from me? What would you ask me for? And that's sometimes another way to see what it is that people see in you or what people notice comes instinctively, from you.
I never thought about it that way, but asking, what do you rely on me for? I'm gonna do that when I get home.
Gotta let me know what they say.
I will.
Thanks.
So, how do you process outside of advice when somebody tells you maybe what your talent should be or what they think that your talent is? How do you kind of understand whether that's you or you're not really feeling that?
Yeah, well, you said the key word. I think feeling is important. It's sometimes intellectual, right? To think about, well, I've done this for a long time, I'm good at it, or I've gotten a lot of education in it, or right, whatever ideas or thoughts we have about it. One thing that I don't think lies is our, not only the feeling like an emotion, but our sensations. We don't often listen or pay attention close enough to our sensations, but we'll usually know if your stomach drops, if you feel like your shoulders sloop, or you have some sort of tightness, perhaps there's some tension in your body. Those are signs that perhaps what you're hearing, either you're resistant, right? Or it could literally be something that's saying, no, not me, not this. Right? So paying attention to our body sensations generally work. When you find yourself feeling expansive, you feel maybe the blood rushing up to your face, or you feel like, the hairs on your arms stand up. All of those, just those pleasant sensations are also good telltale signs. I think so. Paying attention to your sensations will let you know if what the person is saying or what you're experiencing seems to be aligned with what you really experience from the inside.
Okay, that totally makes sense. So feeling, sensation, I love that.
Mm-hmm.
So now that we've gone through the O of own, let's move on to M, master. So how do you perfect your talent?
Well, the key is if you want to do something great, you got to start from the thing that you love to do, because you're going to have to spend a lot of time doing it, right? One of the reasons I coach and I enjoy coaching is because I get to learn more and more about myself as a coach. I experiment with different techniques, but just because I love finding more things out about it, that's one of the telltale signs too. If you're finding that, man, I read books about it, I like watching movies about it, like that's another way to know whether or not it's your strength. And those are all methods that we use to master them, right? When we start looking at how to learn more, how do I get more perspectives? How do I experiment, right? Practicing it always helps. Getting a coach sometimes also works because you have an opportunity to now have dialogue about what your experiences are or your doubts might be. But so mastery comes in a lot of different levels. It comes from developing the skill, it comes from practicing what you've developed, and it also comes from processing, perhaps in conversation with mentors or coaches about the experience.
So, say you master your talent or you kind of have it pinned down. How do you understand how your talent can help others or if your talent can help others?
The only way that you'll know if it can is if you do it with others. So hopefully in the practice, right? In the practice of your working towards mastery, you want to do it several times, but don't really offer it to other people. So if your gift is making spreadsheets, for example, that's not my gift, by the way, but it's an example.
Not
I
mine
would,
either.
right? If that's your game, that's what you love doing. It's where you feel expansive. It's where you feel strong. It's where you feel like you can spend all day perfecting all the formulas, pivot tables, all that good stuff. Then the thing to do is find out who needs that kind of support. Who is working on a project that perhaps requires spreadsheets? Maybe they don't even know they require a spreadsheet and you offer to build one for them. Or perhaps you see a spreadsheet that is really not efficient, that it could be so much faster if they did X, Y, Z. By the way, if you know somebody, let me know.
I will.
But the idea there is when you start to offer it to someone, right, which kind of leads us into the G bit, you'll start to get the feedback that you need to know, okay, this is where I can serve. This is who I can contribute to. This is who might best take this gift or talent that I have and actually put it to work.
Wow. So, you mentioned the G, and I'm sure everybody is wondering. The G stands for give away. So now that you know that your talent can help others, how do you best give your talent away?
Yeah, this one is tricky, Sydney, because often I hear, especially because the connotation that we have about giving something away is like, no, my talent is worthy and it's a value. And why would I give it away to someone as if you're just tossing it away uselessly? But I would challenge the notion that giving something away is wasteful or somehow diminishes the value of something. What we typically give as a gift, we value when it's given as a gift, not because we feel guilty, not because we want to look good,
Mhm.
right? When you think about buying someone a gift, you spend a lot of time and energy thinking about what would this person want or need? How can I beautify it in the way I present it? Like we spend a lot of time and energy finding a good gift and then giving it in a way that's meaningful. The
Yeah.
talents work exactly the same way. This is something that you were born with and you've developed over time, you have mastered. And now, how do you best provide it in a way that is a gift to someone with no expectation that they will reciprocate, right? Just like when we give a birthday gift or a baby shower gift, it's not like, well, when are you giving me mine? We give it freely. And that's the thing. We don't give gifts to every single person we meet. Correct? We're very selective about who we will spend the time, energy shopping for something or finding the thing, wrapping it up. Same goes with your talent. Who really would use, deserves, could benefit from, and it would feel good for both of you to receive what you have to give. And that's how you give it away.
So I love this gift analogy. And when you give a gift, you kind of know who you want to give it to. So how do you know who you want to give the gift of your talent to?
You may not know specifically, but I think those are the moments where you start to pay attention. When I started to do my work as a coach, I remember in a networking event, I overheard a conversation. It wasn't even directed at me, but overheard a conversation from a group of young professionals about how important it would have been to learn some of the things that they'd learned in this event while they were in high school. And it
Wow.
resonated so deeply because at the time I was still trying to find ways to market myself and my business. And I wasn't giving it away, let's say. I was like, well, I've mastered, I own and I've mastered my gifts. So I'm not really ready to give it away. And I overheard the conversation and it sat with me. And I thought, you know what? I probably could find someone that needs something like this that may A, not be able to afford it, or B, not have access to it, or not even know they need it, truth be told. I reached out to a mentor. She connected me with an organization that does the type of work with the type of community that I thought would benefit the most from this gift. And there I started to coach and teach people on how to be a public speaker, and 7th to 12th graders. Imagine that. A seventh grader would not engage a coach typically. But once they had it, oh my gosh, when I see how quickly they develop and how much they value the gift that I've given them, oh, what a wonderful feeling. So really start to pay attention to what's happening around you. Notice the conversations that are happening. Notice the conversations that you're engaging in. And again, find a place that would be meaningful for you and for the other. Some of it just requires a little bit of a little investigation.
Well, that's an incredible story. I love how you, saw it, saw your talent and saw how you could apply it. That's incredible. So, how do you know if somebody actually wants to receive your talent or your gift? In your case, these kids needed your gift, but how do you know if others do as well?
Ask.
Okay.
This is pretty basic. I would just ask, and sometimes the gift is not. People don't always know that they want what you have, and that's perfectly fine. The idea, though, is if you're engaging in conversation and you're asking people what they're dealing with, what they're working on, and you find that, wow, you know what, this would be really a fantastic opportunity for me to offer this. And you don't have to give the whole thing away. It's like, I'll work with you for 12 months. It could simply be, you know what, I can build spreadsheets. I'm really good at that. Why don't you send me the 2 spreadsheets you use the most, and I'll be able to do a couple of tweaks, and I'll send those back to you. Boom. And maybe that's it. Or if your gift is, for example, I have a sister-in-law who loves to decorate, and she's a decluttering expert. And she's the person that I get anytime I start to feel a little overwhelmed about it. But it's something that I know I ask her for now, but initially it was part of well, Valerie, have you thought about this? Have you thought about that? And her questions had me thinking in such a way that I was like, yeah, I should actually do that. Can you help me? So sometimes it's just by prompting people in conversation that you discover that maybe they're not able to do it on their own, or they tried and they don't feel it's really going in the right direction. They're not getting the results. And if you can then offer something, that's another opportunity for you to discover that, oh, wow, this could be a value if I offered it.
So posing some gently kind of prodding questions. I like that a lot. So how do you meaningfully share your talent with a large amount of people? So, we've discussed how to share it with a couple or, a classroom full, but say you want to share your talent in a book or an article or mentoring. How would you start to do that?
If you want to share with a larger group of people, now something like a book or an article does not require necessarily anyone to say yes but you, right? Part of it is produce whatever it is that you want to give to the world. And then if you listen to my other video about the circle of influencers, you will know that you'll find people with whom you can say, hey, I have this book, I have this piece of art, I have this particular product that I would love to share with more people. Who do you know? Part of it is really just understanding who you have around you, and then asking them to leverage either their knowledge or leverage their social circles in order to support amplifying what you have.
Well, OMG, that is the end of my list of questions
OMG.
and our OMG video. So thank you so much, Valerie, for being here with us. And make sure to go watch Valerie's other video. So thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next time.